Bakers Brook, the little set. Young moose here today. That's last year's animal. He's going to be driven away soon from his mom. And his mom is just over there in the woods. Older one going out through there. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Newfoundland Outsider. And on this episode of Newfoundland Destination, we're going to Bakers Brook Falls. We saw a couple moose back there on the highway. That was a good start of today. It's a beautiful day. It's 1 degree, no wind. And we're up in Gros Morne National Park. A lot of parts of the National Forest got boardwalks for you to walk on. That's for two reasons. One is that you don't get wet and dirty and muddy, because a lot of tourists use these come summer. And the other one is to protect the bogs. Bogs do not recover very well. It takes a long time to recover, and we want to protect them. So we want to keep people on the boardwalk and off the bogs. There are lots of these signs telling you about the forest and the surrounding environment. These juniper around here are often called twisted forest. Like the sign says, it's a very rot resistant wood. The Acadia people call this violin wood. But most you Newfoundlanders use it for building materials where things can be rotten, like the shores or the pole soles of your cabin or your house, around your stages and your wharfs. A lot of people in Newfoundland make beer out of black spruce. Black spruce is a highly sought after tree around Newfoundland. It's got lots of uses. You can easily identify the black spruce. It has all the tops. Looks like an eagle was trying to make a nest up there. So this one is called the Forest Pharmacy. And this time they're talking about the balsam fir. One of the big uses I know of balsam fir gum is that it makes a very good antibiotic for putting on cuts. Of course, balsam fir's got a different look altogether. And as you can see, the shape of the tree is uniform all the way to the top. And these are the common Christmas trees you will cut for Christmas time. So about every 100 yards or so, their squirrels got all their what remains of the nuts on the boardwalk. Of course, we can't forget the beavers, one of the big developers that work here in the national park. They're always damming up things in a national park. They let everything go as natural as possible. We don't alter anything here. Some people might think we should alter some things because we had spruce budworm come through. Maybe we should spray for them. But their thinking is just to let everything go naturally. Whatever happens, happens. So that's a fir tree that's fallen over. That would make a wonderful camp spot if you ever got stuck and you need to make a quick shelter. You can do two things. You can make your shelter right here, make a fire, and just put your tarp up over you. You got a great windbreak. That will heat up and keep you warm. The other thing you could do is my favorite, is you get in there and you take the branches off there and you slide in there and make a shelter. It's another good spot. And as you can see, every bud and every small limb has been chewn off. Rabbits like these. See that they missed that one. But moose also like these, and we're going to talk about that later. The devastation that moose has on this area. And this sign talks about the hemlock looper. I get my gloves on. It's kind of cold on the hands. I'm still waiting for the snow to get off the main road so I can go back into my cabin. Right now I can't get in there on side by side, and there's not enough for snowmobile. Okay, this squirrel has been busy. Really busy. That's a lot. That must be the overachiever among squirrels. You think other squirrels make fun at squirrels like that? You could picture them being around together in a little tree. Say, yeah, you know that Larry guy? He's a bit of a show-off, isn't he? All them seeds piled up. Could be talking about it, we don't know. But it's a cool morning. It's 1 degree. And I'm trying to keep the pace up to keep warm. I had to put my gloves on. And I might have to put my jacket on. So the marker signs there, 5 kilometers, 4 kilometers, and 3 kilometers, tells you how much you got left to go before the falls. It's a great falls. It's worth seeing. Oh, we got a little snow. Last remaining patch. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the most controversial animal in the national park. And normally, we let the national park take its toll. Spruce budworms, hemlock caterpillars, meadow different types of insects and mammals. We just left them alone. They're doing a lot of damage in some areas, doing good in other areas. So we left them alone. But the one we had to deal with is the moose. So in the early 1900s, we brought some moose. We did it a couple times. The first time it didn't work. The second time we brought some to Howley. And the moose population just exploded. Newfoundland Island is not that big of an island. And we have now estimated 125,000 moose on the island. And we have an estimated 60,000 calves born every year. Well, that is great for the Newfoundland population because that's our red meat. Most people eat moose, not beef. We have fish, we buy some pork, but all our red meat usually comes from moose. But in the national park, the moose exploded. There were thousands here, and they had to do something about it. So they brought in hunters, and they had to call the moose. Not call them. We didn't call them up, we called them. It's kind of hard to say. So we had to eradicate some of them. It was a very, very controversial topic. And when people were doing it, it was very controversial. But in this instance, the national park figured it was imperative that we do it before the entire forest here was eaten. Or woods, we call it here in Newfoundland. Just to prove how badly it was, they set up an experiment here. So we're going to make a little detour and go out and see the moose exclosure fence. Moose droppings on the boardwalk. And that little guy there is Coyote. And now Coyote is another problem we got in our province. And that's controversial as well. A lot of people don't like people hunting coyotes. But a couple friends of mine in Deer Lake got 2 pictures of coyotes carrying off family pets. And then it don't become so controversial. So the national parks fenced off a piece of land right in the middle of the problem, right in the middle of where they're having moose problems, just to show the public how much damage moose really do to the vegetation around here. You can see how moose got everything eaten out, cleared right out. All that's left is birch trees, because moose don't like birch trees. If they did, they'd be gone too. All down through the fields you can see where the moose have eaten all the young trees, all the new growth. So we're going to go inside the exclosure because they have a path you can go through and walk from this gate all the way to the other end and see what it's like inside. It's tight. Well, the first thing I notice, all the young trees are still alive in here. And it's much thicker. It says, what's on the menu? It says this area was fenced in the autumn of 2009 to demonstrate the effects of moose on the forest. The favorite food plants of moose are thriving inside this 100-meter square exclosure. Outside, the only plants that do well are those that moose will not eat. The red elderberry. Fireweed, they love fireweed. And these dogwoods, they love these. And I love moose meat. Man, it's the best meat in the world. Big difference in here. The thickness of the evergreen. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Get an idea. Oops. It's locked from the inside. Oh, outside. So right here we have an information board for people to see, and it's more on the moose controversy. It says, moose, is it a mistake or a mistake? That is a bit more information on moose, and they talk about when we had wolves in Newfoundland in the beginning, because Newfoundland had their own species of wolves back in the day and they got extinct. But what they don't talk about there is bears. Our province is rampant with black bears. There's not a lot of people hunting them anymore. They're very hard to find. They're very hard for the biologists to narrow down exactly how many there are. But they figure there's somewhere between 25 and 40,000 black bears on the island right now. And one of the favorite meals of black bears is baby moose. They love baby moose, and they're eating a lot of them. And now that we got coyotes, they're helping out. So we come to the little barren section. Still a little snow up there, quite a bit actually, on the very top. So we got about another 1.5 kilometers to go before the falls. And to our good American friends, we got about 1 mile to go. Pretty much every young tree has been chewed on by moose. And I'll just give you an example. Everyone has got a better view. Everyone has been eaten off. Fresh cut. Every tree. All down through there. All over there. Every tree has been eaten off. So here in the national park, and with most national parks I think, you can't fly a drone. So I can't give you an aerial shot of exactly what it looks like. More. They're just standing there eating and pooping it out the other end. This here sign talks about the people that cut all the lumber in this area before there was a national park. And right there it says there was an old cabin. It says about 100 meters in front of you, an old logger's tilt crumbles into the soil alongside the remains of a push mill. So 100 meters. Out there, there's the remains of an old mill and an old cabin. Let's go and see if we can find it. Found an old drum. Looks like an old washer drum somebody had for a fire pit. I guess this is the remains of the old cabin. Not much left. If this is it, or it might have been a shed of some kind. bit of tin. I mean, that was for the chimney or the wall behind the stove. An old piece of plywood. Not much remaining. To know that people came here on horseback and cut logs and milled lumber for boat building and things. And we're such a long way from Rocky Harbor, Woody Point and Norris Point. It was a long ways to go to haul things by horse. Sure, it's a long ways to go by skidoo. That there's some coyote poop. I'm going to tell you what, that is a big coyote if that's coyote poop. And that's a rabbit. He must have just finished eating a rabbit. Lots of old moose poop. It's everywhere. And we're down to the last kilometer. Down to the falls. So I can really hear the falls now. Just another couple hundred meters. For anybody that wants to do a nice hiking trip, you're not really a hiker, you're not really into this stuff. This trail is flat as a pancake for about 4.5 kilometers. And then the last few hundred yards you go down about 25-30 meters, which is like 90 feet down. That's it. It's really easy, well marked. There's even a bathroom down here. Before the falls, let's go look at the river. Nice. And the falls is just over there. Let's go see what condition it's in. Not sure if the door closes. Wouldn't be much good for women if you can't close the door. There. Fresh moose sign here today. It's not very old at all. Just this morning. And it's a young bull. You can tell it's a young bull. It's got his dew claws imprints in the back. So these little dogwood trees are moose, one of the moose favorites. But let's see. When I used to go ice fishing, I used to use these for a little fishing rod. Just string my hook on the top to make great fishing rods, and they were very visible on the ice because they're so red. Looks like the moose were hanging out down here. Got a lookout here. And if you don't like walking down an old gravel path, they got nice tips for you. Ooh. Nice. Ooh, nice view. Well, that was great. That's a really nice falls. It's worth hiking to. So we're going to start going back now. And when I get back up here on top of the hill, I'm going to go out of my way about 1 kilometer. There's supposed to be there's an old ski hut there. I'm not sure if it's open this time of year. If it is, we're going to have a little lunch there. Because I'm really hungry. It's 10:30 now, and I started at 5 o'clock this morning, and you know how much I eat. Get up on top of this lookout, see if I can find that hut. Whew. Have a little break. Okay, break's over. Looks like the remains of an old camp here. Stone. Oh, we found it. Not sure if it's open. Hey, open. Ooh, nice. We're gonna have a nice fire and a nice break. Nice little spot. Somebody got some tin foil in there to stop the draft. Stovepipes in a rough shape. Looks like the outhouse is tipped over. Looks fairly new too. Oh, nope. Maybe after I have lunch, I can get a tree and get a bit of leverage and pop that guy back up. It's gonna be hard by yourself. Weighs a lot. Probably weighs 400 pounds. Beautiful spot. Nice little cabin. Ocean in the background. Ooh. Okay. I think I got a bit of everything here today. Some yogurt and berries. These are the berries Gary and I picked this summer. I got some cinnamon on it. And I got some pate. This is pork pate from Walmart from Poland. It's awesome, man. And I got some muffins that Jesse made. A lot of work to put in for having my shit. All the crows are flying in a flock. They say when all the crows are flying in a flock like that, they're on the hunt for food, and they team up and better track down more food, and then they share it when they get it. So I got it up over a foot off the ground. If I can get it up a bit more, I can press it and stand it up. Oh, almost. A little bit more. Now can I do it? Too heavy. Still too heavy. Well, I guess I'll leave it there until next time. Next time I comes in, I get some help come in with me, help lift that up. That's very fresh. That's only a couple hours old. There's a duck there somewhere. Okay, well that's it for Bakers Brook Falls. So how did Bakers Brook Falls get its name? Well, we're going there now. It's named after a little settlement out on the coast. So in 1911, two families settled out here on the coast. They had a lobster industry on the go. They had two little factories, and each family ran their own factory. So in 1921, the population grew from 6 people and 2 families up to 16 people. Then in 1939, they got their own one-room school. So that was pretty cool. So as Joe Hollerhead became the teacher for the one-room school, the population grew. The population grew to 45 residents in 1956, which was its peak. And by then the residents were relying on fishing, the fishing industry, the lobster, the codfish, trapping, and logging. So in 1973, the federal provincial agreement established the Gros Morne National Park. And inside that park was the little community of Bakers Brook. And as a result of the policy, the population started to decline. In 1976, the population went down to 30 people. And by 1980, there was nobody left. One of many examples around Newfoundland. I was told there's nothing left of the factories or anything. There's a few cabins and that around there, but I've never been there. So let's go check it out. Grouse here today. So right here is where the Bakers Brook Falls meets the ocean. So we were up at the beginning this morning at the falls itself, and all the way down there to the ocean. So the only thing left of Bakers Brook, the little settlement now, is just a few cabins. That's all for this Newfoundland destination. If you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And we'll see you next time.